Pasta time!
I'm Christine.
I'm Toby.
Welcome to our top 5 worst movies of 2019. We're going to be counting down our top 5 worst films, but also giving out some superlatives like...
most overrated film.
most disappointing.
Most enjoyable bad movie.
Let's start off with our most disappointing film.
Mine, I was kind of expecting to not live up to my expectations, but I really wanted it to because it's my favorite animated Disney film of all time, and it's Aladdin, and I love Aladdin. I liked the movie, but it's such a high bar. It just didn't capture that magic. The first song just was bad.
Aww, I really had so much fun with that movie.
Will Smith was fine.
I thought he did a great job.
He did a good job. Jafar wasn't great. He didn't turn into a big snake.
Jafar was a little disappointing. But I loved all the dancing, and I loved Prince Ali.
That's okay.
My most disappointing film of 2019 was Captain Marvel. I was so excited for Captain Marvel. I was so excited to see her origin story, to learn all about this superhero that I don't know anything about, but looks like a badass bitch. We didn't get an origin story, and she had amnesia, so I felt like I never even knew her because she doesn't even know herself in this movie. I was very upset.
First solo
Marvel lady film. And we didn't get an origin story. And an origin story is what makes you fall in love with the character, because you go from their human story to their superhero story. So you get to relate to them on all these human levels, and there was no human connection. We didn't get to see anything about her family. The only connection we had was her best friend or girlfriend. Even that, we didn't get a lot of it.
This was my winner for most meh movie. The Not Great, Not Terrible award presented by Chernobyl. For me, it's like, it's fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just like, A lot of people complain about Brie Larson, which I don't have a complaint
I don't have a complaint about Brie Larson. I think it was the writing.
I think the direction was flat.
The script was pretty flat.
Yeah. There's no big moment that I remember. I was like, whoa.
The best moment was the joke about the computer.
Yeah, that probably was the best moment. That was pretty funny.
My most meh of 2019 was Zombieland 2.
No.
It had good moments, but it was meh.
I think I liked it a little bit more than that, but I could see that.
The funny didn't tie as well into an overarching plot that made it like,
yeah.
Look at they did this. The script just wasn't as nice. Zoe Deutsch was a standout in that movie for me.
She was really funny.
She was
a standout. Is the kind of character that you think is going to be really annoying.
It was the classic stereotype from the 2000s.
Yeah, it was really funny.
What is your most overrated?
My most overrated is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, don't go to the comments. I'll explain myself. It's a really well-crafted movie. Quentin Tarantino knows what he's doing. Leo and Brad Pitt are amazing. It just kind of meandered for a really long time. Narratively.
He was just really... like, I love Hollywood from the 60s.
Because LA is like a character in this movie.
Yeah, he focuses a lot on just driving around through old LA.
At a certain point, it's like, I'm liking all this. I'm not disliking it.
It just didn't have that cohesiveness that a usually a Tarantino film will have.
I wanted more
all
drive
come
in the narrative.
Circle and be really high stakes.
It ended great, but it took a long time to get there. And
my most overrated film of 2019 is The Irishman. I 2.5 hours in didn't care about anyone. There was no overarching plotline. There was a ton of characters, bad men who pretend to be good because they think they're good people, but they're not interesting characters. They're not sympathetic in any way. Like, I could watch Dexter. I did watch Dexter for like, what, 60 hours? Kill people, but he's sympathetic because we know him and we know parts of him are human and parts of him care and stuff. Robert De Niro's character is so bland the whole time.
I think it's just understated. It's hidden under that
no,
kind of like
he's
stoic...
just like that typical mafioso.
You can see it. It's very subtle.
Italian guy who he cares, but like he has no defining traits or defining moments where he shows that he cares really about one person or another. He's just loyal to Joe Pesci the whole time.
Well, I think also until the third act, his character is mostly used as kind of like a vehicle for the audience to see the rest of the world.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I've watched a lot of mafia movies. I've watched The Sopranos. I've seen this story over and over again, and there's nothing interesting or different about this one. Goodfellas was more entertaining to me and less long. Like, it was 3.5 hours just to watch him get all the way old. I've seen that story. Like, Goodfellas ends the same way. I'm telling you, like, they all get old and they all go to jail. Every mafia movie's like that. There was no personal drama to hold you to his character. He's like, that's when I left my wife. That's when my kids started to hate me. It's like, well, no shit, you're a murderer. You murder people. I just think this same storyline has been done better in the past. And I'm always gonna recommend Goodfellas because that's my favorite one. Goodfellas, I like the first half an hour and then it gets really depressing. The big thing with The Irishman was like the anti-aging software. But,
I think that they pull it off for the most part.
I think Robert De Niro is old and you can see that he's a weird old 40-year-old. He's never more clear than when there's a wide shot and you can see him walking. Or you can see him beating up that guy and he's like an old man beating up the guy.
Yeah. The technology on him for some reason looks the worst.
Because he's like a little more hunched over so you can see
But I never, like with Joe Pesci and...
I didn't see it with Joe Pesci. Al Pacino looked great on him.
Yeah,
it was like we saw too much of Robert almost. It's that you couldn't
and then actually once he gets a little older, I think it's better. But the really young stuff...
it's fine. It's when he's young. And he's like christening his new child and he's like an old man.
Yeah, it looks a little silly.
John was talking about, are these advancements going to look stupid in 10 years? Like Shrek 1 kind of looks now. And this is one that I was already like, this is going to look bad.
Yeah, it could end up looking really weird in like 10 years. So
like Renesmee looks now in Breaking Dawn. Oh my god. You know that dog movie that's coming out with Han Solo? And the dog looks very fake. There's some scenes with Robert where I'm like, he looks like that dog. Everyone else looks solid, but he looks like the dog in this scene. Most enjoyable bad! What is your most enjoyable bad?
It's another hot take.
What is it?
My most enjoyable bad movie is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my god, this is not a bad movie.
Well, here we go again. Thinking about this, it's kind of the opposite for me. Where Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was extremely well crafted, but a little boring and slow and meandering. Whereas this movie is fast paced. There's a ton of things happening. It's exciting. It's flashy. There's action. There's laughs. It's really fun to watch. I had a great time watching it. It's a mess of a movie. It is a big old mess of a movie. It's bloated. There's too much in it. It should have been 2 movies. It should have been stretched out, or we should have had stuff cut so that we could focus more on the characters, because we're going to here and we're going to there, and there's all these plot conveniences and little things that it's just like, when you finish watching the movie, you're like, well, wait a minute, that didn't make sense, or hang on, what happened there? Or like, this was really ridiculous. So I had a great time. It's a fun movie, but it was a big mess.
I think JJ was in a tough situation.
He was in a very tough situation.
Trying to finish it in one movie.
Yeah, there's whole planets and little subplots, excursions, where they could just cut and like explain it in a different way, so we don't have to spend like 20 minutes with this planet, and we can use that time to focus more on the characters, which I didn't feel like we got a whole lot.
The dancing planet.
I
had so much fun with Raylo in this movie.
I know.
My enjoyable bad movie pick is Crawl, which was so much fun. There's a hurricane about to hit Florida. This girl can't get a hold of her dad. He lives in the evacuation zone, and she goes down there, and then it's too late to evacuate, and they get caught in a house with alligators. And it's amazing. It's his daughter trying to save her dad, and the dad trying to save her daughter, and the journey is so exciting and so ridiculous at times, and I love it.
So we're here now.
We're here at the top 5 worst movies of 2019. I look like a weird 80s Barbie.
Yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions for worst movie of the year?
I had a tough time. There was plenty of other bad movies that we didn't see because we don't want to
go pay for bad movies.
Spend time watching a bad movie that we know is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Well, besides one. So these are just kind of, I guess, least favorite.
I'm just going to drop an honorable mention
okay.
for Falling in Love on Netflix, about a girl who lost her job and then like she randomly wins a bed and breakfast in New Zealand. And then she goes to New Zealand, falls in love. They're hitting these romantic comedy beats with no substance in the middle. It was one of those enjoyable bads that like I enjoyed watching because I was like, but it didn't make it into the worst. There are worse ones I've watched.
So number 5?
Come on and slam, and welcome to the
Number 5 worst movie I saw this year was Terminator: Dark Fate.
Oh, I didn't see
which
that.
I actually had a lot of fun with for the most part. I mean, it's certainly the best Terminator since T2. That's not saying a whole lot, but it was. And it had some really cool ideas. She's not a Terminator, but she's like enhanced, and she comes back from the future.
Cyborg?
She can only fight for a certain amount of time, and then she runs out of energy, so she has to keep like drugging herself up. It was really fun. It's like there's moments where she's just like, ugh. The big thing that made me not like this movie is what happens right at the beginning. I'm not going to say if you haven't seen the movie, but it is a huge slap in the face and a huge disservice to everything that happens in the first 2 Terminator films. If you've seen Alien 3 and know what they did to certain characters at the beginning of that movie, they Alien 3'd this movie. Really? Right at the beginning? Just like punch me in the gut, not like a emotional way, but just kind of like a F you kind of way. I hate what they did at the beginning. I just hate it.
My number 5 is Motherless Brooklyn. I saw a screening of this at TIFF. It was so hard to stay awake. It had a good concept as far as pacing goes. It was all over the place. There was no character you cared about because we didn't have any good character moments. The plot felt all over the place. I didn't really know exactly what was going on. It just wasn't cohesive. It felt like it was trying really hard to be film noir. Sometimes it was like, okay, but then the music would swell too loud and it would be overwhelming. Like, what are you doing? I can barely hear them.
I'm kind of sad that, I don't know if I would have liked it or not, I kind of said I missed it just because the cast looked so
Yeah,
strong.
the cast looked really great. Alec Baldwin is the standout.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
4. 4 for me. I just need another movie to put on here. It's Crawl.
Crawl!
was-
Crawl is so enjoyable.
It was fun, but it's also just like kind of schlocky and I actually
First Star Wars, now
I actually had fun with it
Crawl.
a lot of the ways through. It jumps the shark, if we're referencing Jaws, but
You're
it
talking about the whole movie jumps the shark.
It jumps the gator. Well, I mean, it is already kind of ridiculous concept
Yeah.
at the beginning, but like the whole at the end, there's like a gator, it's like wah, and like bursting through a window into
Yeah,
the water,
and
it
it's
was,
fun.
some of the kills were like really funny, and I laughed, but they're just like stupid.
That's the point of it. No,
I know.
It's aware.
I just needed another movie to put on here.
Can You Keep a Secret is an adaptation of Sophie Kinsella's Can You Keep a Secret. It's starring Derek from Teen Wolf and Alexandra Daddario, so I was excited, but then it just fell so flat as a rom-com because the relationship's so one-sided. We don't get to know one of the characters, and if you don't get to know the guy and like want her really with him because you don't know him, then there's no crescendo. Like, I don't care about their relationship. I don't know him. Why should I care? It builds and it's like, it might be promising, and then it's just nothing happens. I'm sad. There's been a lot of rom-coms that came out this year that I was excited about, but they're just releasing a lot of half-assed ones. It kind of feels like when Dystopian got really popular because of Hunger Games, and then they just tried to crank out as many as they could, and they got really shitty and lazy about it, like The Fifth Way. That's what's happening a lot with these smaller rom-com movies that are coming out on streaming services. They're just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. It's rom-com. There was a good one this year that I didn't get to put on any of my lists, but it was called Maybe Someday.
Is that the one with
the police
where
guy?
Keanu shows up?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one was so funny and it was so good. But anyway, Can You Keep a Secret was not good.
3, Black Mirror, Bandersnatch.
Oh my god, I forgot about Bandersnatch.
It's the first movie we watched
Oh
of
my
2019.
god, it was like promising and then it got really bad.
Really interesting concept.
Yeah, and it felt like it got half-assed toward the end.
We didn't fully explore all the options,
But you shouldn't have to.
I think you might have to for what they were
No.
going for, but I didn't feel like I wanted to.
I didn't want to
Once
either.
we were done,
yeah.
it's like, okay.
I was like, I'm done with this.
Because we did try, something
it would
happened.
reverse you. It would make you go
Oh yeah,
back.
we lost
Yeah.
or something. We got like a real bad ending. So like, let's try again. And then didn't really change that much. And then we got further. I don't even know if we got like the furthest
So,
you can.
it was meta. Like, in the movie, they're making this video game.
Yeah.
And the video game had so many different endings that he wasn't able to flesh out all of them.
Yeah.
So, like, it starts good and then it gets worse and worse. And the same thing happened with the movie. It gets less and less detailed and less interesting.
Yeah.
So
and I've never even gone back and looked at like what else.
I mean, I didn't care. In the beginning, it was like, woo.
Yeah. Cool concept. Just
about that.
not very good execution.
My number 3 is another very disappointing streaming rom-com. The Wedding Year. What was that? I was very excited because it's Sarah Hyland, and I don't know the guy's name, but I've seen him in other things and he's great. They acted as much as they could, but the movie had no pace. Like, it was just something happens, random montage. Like, what is this? We were supposed to care about them, but we hadn't seen enough of their relationship develop, and randomly we'd skip time, and randomly we'd have a montage, and like the montage was like, why are we having this right now? It just felt meaningless. So that was a big bummer. It started off promising again, and then very quickly went like 2.
Number 2 is a movie called Someone Great.
Oh my god, really?
I can't remember anything about it. I don't remember who's in it.
Oh my god.
I don't remember what it's about.
It's Jane
on
the
my
Virgin
list.
and Brittany Snow.
I don't know who they are. I don't know
Oh
what they
my
look like.
God.
It's number 2 because I don't remember it.
This movie was not bad.
But apparently
at
we
all.
watched it. No, I don't know if it was bad.
It was fun.
I don't know what the movie is. I apparently watched it. I can't remember a single scene.
She broke up with her boyfriend of like 9 years. It was her dealing with that and moving on.
I kind of remember that, but I don't remember anything else. I
They
don't
were
remember what
trying
they
to
were
get
doing.
like Molly so that they can go to a concert because she's a Rolling Stone columnist for music.
I might as well have not seen
Gina
it.
Rodriguez was so funny in this movie.
Maybe. It's number 2 because I don't know what this movie is because I can't remember.
My number 2 is Toy Story 4.
Oh.
Oh, hey! Excuse me. Come back here, Pizza Time.
Oh my god.
Toy Story 4 The story all of a sudden tunneled just to Woody. I don't like Toy Stories that much already, but this is by far my least favorite Toy Story.
I hate stories about toys.
Forky was the only thing getting me through this
great.
movie, but then he was captured, and I just really didn't like the scary girl doll and all those minions.
I don't like that because it was.
I just felt like there was something missing to make it fun, and it was all the gang.
Yeah, I'll say it didn't feel like it was a necessary movie. I liked the ending of 3 better as a
it
ending
didn't give
to
me
the
that
franchise,
like heartwarming feeling that the 3,
Yeah.
even though I don't like them, I was crying.
Yeah, but
This
it's still
one,
a really good movie.
I got bored a little bit, which doesn't usually happen to me. Like I don't ever feel bored in a Pixar film, except for Cars.
Cars.
And I didn't think it was bad, but it was one of my least favorites, you know? Like, I don't think it was poorly made, but I just didn't like it. Buzz Lightyear was, like, barely in it. It was weird.
That's one complaint.
We're at our worst movie of the year. I wonder what your worst movie of the year is.
You know exactly what it is.
I know
We're
what
going to get into this right now.
Hello, world, I'm your wild girl.
Worst movie of 2019. Is it Justice League?
No, that was a masterpiece.
Cats, aka James Corden's Celebrity Nightmare Hour.
Where to begin?
I didn't see Cats.
I saw it. I endured Cats. This movie broke me. Let's just start at the beginning. Weird atonal organ music. It's just inviting you, like, come into hell. This is hell, and you bought the ticket. You're here, so we're just gonna jump right in. These little cat people. There's moments where they like get too intimate with each other. Where you're like, I don't think I should be watching this. I feel like I just walked into the wrong room or something. You have Rebel Wilson.
That viral clip. Of
the clip that's going around. That's just the beginning.
God, it looks horrible. I thought that was a joke.
There's cockroach people.
They look so bad.
And
their
they look
faces
bad.
on
And
them.
she's
like
eating them, and
jib
there's
jab.
mouse people, and she's ripping her skin off. One of the worst things I've had to see in my life is James Corden on his back with cat people forcing him to drink a ton of champagne, and he's like guzzling it down and trying to sing. Idris Elba, the hair on his cat body is too short, so he just looks naked.
Cats,
but a literal
want
old
to
cat
die
lady.
in this movie,
But
right? It's
yeah,
very
the
dark.
whole story is that just like it's a competition
talent
to
show
see who
gets to die.
The final like 5 minutes of the movie is literally just Judi Dench as a cat person staring like this. I can recreate it like this, just staring at you, the audience, and being like, now you know what a cat is. You know what a jellicle cat is. I don't know what jellicle means. That's not a word. I don't know what it means, Judi Dench. You didn't explain anything. The movie didn't explain anything. It just tore my mind apart.
And John likes cats.
I'm a cat person, and this was just awful. This movie sucked. I hated it.
I'm very sorry.
What's Jellicle?
I'm sorry you hated it so hard.
I hate cats. There's a part where like we meet a character we've never met before, and he just sings about trains, and they're all dancing on train tracks. And like, what's happening? The main character has like 4 lines in the movie. There isn't a main character.
About his hatred for cats.
Oh, they sent a new version out to correct the CGI because there was mistakes. And I saw the old version, and I saw mistakes. There's a shot in the beginning where the main cat lady, she's like dancing, and her hands are human. There's like, you see human nails and human fingers. It was at the beginning, so I'm like, are they all supposed to be like that? Do they have human hands? But then it switches to a shot from above, and it's like, oh no, now she has cat hands. So
the drama.
your turn.
No, you open mine.
Oh yeah. It's unfortunately not going to be cats because you didn't see cats. It should be cats. It better not be what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
If it is, I'm leaving.
What is it?
I've already had to talk about cats, and now you're going to do this to me. Oh, thank God.
It's Cats too.
Christine's worst movie of 2019 is Big Real Cats.
Okay, say the actual
The Lion
name.
King. The Lion King.
When you said it wasn't cats, I was like, yeah, it is about cats.
It is about cats.
The cat movies this year just didn't hit the mark.
No.
I got so frustrated in this movie at the inability of real lions to emote at all. The worst thing could be happening, and they're like,
Sad.
the reason this worked was because the lions emoted like people. That's why we cried, that's why we got upset, and sad, that's why we got excited when they were singing. Like, the best part of this film were Timon and Pumbaa, who were standouts and had lines that were different from the movie a little bit, the cartoon. But everything else was exactly the same as the cartoon. All the acting came out so weird and flat because the animals weren't emoting. I was just like, why am I even watching this? It's just like I'm watching the National Geographic or something. Like, I'm watching the Animal Planet with weird talking. The worst part was when they did Can You Feel the love tonight.
Yeah.
And like Beyonce started singing, and I love Beyonce. I just pictured her face just like floating, like, with the opacity turned down in the background, and also Donald Glover coming in like that, because it was just lions. They weren't even pretending to sing. They were just drinking water. What am I watching?
Jeremy Irons' song from the original one, Scar. His
Not
song,
there.
No,
It was there for like a
it was
second.
there for a second and it sucked.
The
You
best
ruined
part,
it.
and the only part where I was smiling and laughing was a wingo,
Yeah,
a wingo,
yeah,
and all
that
the
was good.
animals started, and I was like, yeah, and it was really
That was
funny
good.
when she came in
Yeah,
and
they all
attacked
screamed,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, so good.
That was very good.
And then everything else was like
Just watch that clip.
nothing.
'Cause it's
When
fun.
Timon and Pumbaa, they improv a little bit, and it's really funny.
Yeah, they were both really good.
They
and
were
funny.
really
Even
good.
though a warthog in real life is just like a lot less appealing to look at than Disney's cartoon
Both
warthog.
of them were just
It was
not
just
as
like,
cute at
oh.
all. Why did they think this would be a good
Yeah.
idea? Live action other stuff is like, okay, it's people and cartoon people. Animals are a whole nother thing.
Or they should have just taken some not
Because it's
gone
not live action, it's
so-
all CGI
yeah,
animals.
Yeah, they should have maybe done
Taken some liberties and made them like a
in
little
between,
more
a little more cartoonish.
human-y, yeah.
It's really
It was
impressive.
very-
I'll say the technology they use.
But like, who cares if it's not telling the story well? It's
Yeah,
a movie.
no.
Because the animals aren't emoting, I start to picture the actors talking. That's not what you want. You want to forget. I would have rather seen Donald Glover dressed as a lion walking around.
Know what I'm thinking about now?
What?
Is if you took the characters from
Cats
both
are the
movies and switched them. So like the Lion King had the design of cats, so it's like the characters in the Lion King looked like the characters in Cats. And then vice versa, so then the Cats movie is just cats. It's just photorealistic cats.
In like a regular house.
Yeah, that would be better. Both ways. Because then it would be extremely funny with the Lion King of just like
Those were
That's
our
it.
worst movies of 2019. Please share yours and your opinions on ours. We'd love to hear.
If you want to form a cat support group in the comments, that's very much encouraged and appreciated. I can help moderate that if needed. We can share our stories.
I posted our top 5 best movies of 2019, so go check that out if you haven't yet. I'm Christine.
I'm Toby Maguire.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Pizza time.